It's me, Punchy. Just got off the graveyard shift and had a minute to tell you about my buddy Neil. Good guy, tough guy, hell of a puncher. He's put more people on their backs than a Texas ice storm.
Whoa, too soon, Punchy.
You can catch Neil the 604 Atheist on YouTube every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific with his guests and their decomposition, deconstruct. Oh, come on, what does this say? Deconversion stories. Just ring the bell. Let's get the show started.
Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And you can blame Mr. Simply Secular over there in the chat for that silly little intro that I've been playing the past couple of rounds. He made that for me, and I thought I'd pop it in there at the beginning of these shows for a little while and see how that goes over. Anywho, today I'm talking with my friend Justin Nelson. You guys probably know him from the International Freethinkers YouTube channel, which is linked below. He does a little show called If Was, which I was once a guest on for that one with him and Jenna Mew, who is also in the chat hanging out with us and will probably be in the after party with us too, I imagine. I imagine. And Mikey's here with us in the backstage, the producer extraordinaire. He's just making some food right now, some steak and potatoes kind of guy. And then he'll be joining us towards the end of this with whatever kind of questions he has for Justin as well. So anyways, Justin, you know what I do here? I talk to people about their journeys away from whatever belief systems they were once a part of or were forced to be a part of in your situation, kind of. So why don't you kind of take us back to the early days of when you were sort of thrown into the church and all that stuff and your, ultimate decision of fuck this shit, I'm out of here kind of thing. And take us on that little journey.
I just want to point out that I like how up to date your intro is with the culture. Yeah, so what we were talking about a little bit before the show is I didn't grow up necessarily as like part of the church, but I found instances of where I was forced to go for one reason or another. And it was so one time, like, if I stayed at a friend's house or a cousin's house or whatever, I had to go to their church, and it was a local church down the street from me. And I've been there before for like community events, but I'd only been a handful of times as like an actual church. And what I remember is when the few times that I went, like the big thing that at the time was like a very child version of Noah's Ark. And it's
dude, when I was a little kid and my family were driving down the coast to Disneyland, every time we stopped at an Arco, my dad picked up my sister and I one of those little Noah's Ark little boats. That you could take the top off and you put all the animals in the family, Noah and everyone inside. So we had this like toys that we could play with, but they were all fucking Noah's Ark bullshit. So it's kind of funny. If you look them up on YouTube, there was quite a few you get little packs of 2 animals every time you go down there.
Yeah, I just don't know if that's the right story to start someone off with. Like if it's one of their first experiences with their religious indoctrination on that path.
This can't possibly be true.
So yeah, I mean, I've been a handful of times, and it just never seemed like it's not something that my parents forced on me. So my parents were religious, but we never went like as a family. So my dad was pretty religious, and later in his life he got into like a lot of creationist type stuff, which probably paralleled a lot of the conspiracy theory type thinking as well. But
Oh, really?
yeah. So yeah, we can get into all that. But
Sure.
as far
I
as
that.
a strict Christian religion, as a child, I was exposed to it, but it was never forced on me, and so I just didn't have that pressure of believing the stories.
Okay.
Later on, in my teens, I did have I don't know how to describe it, like religious ideations where you think about it like maybe I want it to be real, like I want there to be somebody there to help or make things
Sure.
better. I want almost like believing in magic or hoping that magic is real in the same sense, right?
Mhm.
But for the most part, religion was not something really prevalent in my household as a child. There was a lot of parallels, as I mentioned before the show. There was parallel ideologies that were very similar. That was really prevalent in my childhood. Primarily, being involved early as a child and a teen in the Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous programs that my dad was going through. So I've been to NA meetings, AA meetings, and spent a lot of time around AA clubs and NA clubs, which are, I mean, it's basically church for people with problems,
Mhm.
is what it feels like. People with addiction. And like I said, I've only been to like real church a couple times, but I imagine that like Sunday church is very similar to going to a meeting, but it's basically just skipping straight to the testimony part.
Right. People telling their stories and reaching out for help, kind of thing.
Yeah, so that was really big in my life when I was younger and when I was a teen, basically up until the time where I joined the military. Yeah, no, go ahead.
How young were you when you joined the military?
I was 20, so I didn't join when I was 18, like most people do. So I was I never wanted to do it. I did
No.
I did junior ROTC in high school, Army
Yeah.
ROTC.
Yeah.
I did that all 4 years. I went to a pretty bad school system, Detroit Public Schools, and I just happened to have that class in my freshman year, and it was like one of the more like stay out of trouble scenarios. So I just kind of stuck with it,
Right.
and I had a lot of friends that joined right out of high school. And because unfortunately, whether we like it or not, it is one of the very few viable paths out of poverty, and into some of the inner cities to kind of
Yeah.
get out of that environment.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Because you get everything's paid for when you're there, right? So,
Yeah, so it feels like, it's unfortunate that we're in this situation, but it's like everything's paid for. The pay sucks when it starts off, but it gets better, and then you learn a lot, you get to see a lot, experience a lot. So it's a good deal if, you don't go to war, then maybe not so much. But as far as like being like a civil servant, it and coming out the other end with virtually no debt and stuff like that, it's pretty good.
Mhm.
But I after I graduated high school, I worked for about a year and a half before I joined.
Drink break.
Yeah, sorry. Stuff like that.
That's all right.
Pretty good. But I
Oh, hang
after I
on.
graduated high school,
I forgot to turn the volume down. I'm airing this through Facebook too, so I'm kind of watching.
Oh,
the
cool.
Facebook.
Cool. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, I tried college after high school. That didn't work. And then I tried working for a year, and then that didn't work.
What about college didn't work?
I wasn't ready for it. So I graduated high school with like a 2.8, 2.9 GPA. It was really bad, but my test scores were really good. So I had a 27 on my ACT scores on my first try. So which is pretty good. And when you get a score like that, and you're coming from like a poor neighborhood, you can get pretty good scholarships. So I was accepted into a private institution here in Michigan. It was an engineering school, and one marijuana, please. And we were talking about that yesterday. And I went from like never having to do homework to pass school to basically all there is in college is homework, and I was just not ready for that change. I just got my first car. I just moved out of my dad's house where I was living, and it was all bad.
That's for you.
Yes. So that's a good question. So when you're in boot camp, one of the things that sticks out very prevalently is that chaplains, if you're joining to be a chaplain, you get like special treatment. And then if you the only like breaks that you can get from boot camp is if you go to your religious service. So they will let you out of your barracks all in the middle of the day, whatever, to go to religious ceremony. So there were people who would, I mean, it's the equivalent of complaining about smokers having a smoke break while you got to work through the break, right? But you so you like, there's people that went to church services just because that was a valid exemption from your duties.
Sure.
And so people were pressured. Yeah, people were pressured into doing that. And then so that was like it's a special privilege that you don't get otherwise, right? So it's very welcoming to do something like that, to volunteer for it. And I'm going to go to church. I'm a church person now. And it's just one of those ways that even though we're a secular government and a secular military, that it just finds its way into things. And there's just subtle little ways to get people involved and to get locked into these things. But even after boot camp, pretty much everybody is religious. They have religious ceremonies. We just like when I cringe when I hear the president say "God bless America," but that's when you have to, when you basically have to, people that when they're not confident that they're doing the right thing, when you tell them they're doing God's work, that's how you make it irrefutable that you're doing the right thing.
Right.
So it's not necessarily that I felt pressure to like go into church, but it was definitely pressure to go along with what the dominant religion, Christianity in this case, is doing around you.
Well, were there any other people there from different religions?
I'm sure there was. It's not something that came up very often on my tour. I did 5 years, so I did a year of training and then 4 years of stationed on a submarine out of Pearl Harbor in Hawaii.
Okay.
And then I did 2 deployments out of that. So there probably was. It's just not something that came up very often, and it could be because of the it could be because there was just not a lot of people that were, or it could be because in that environment, when you can't escape the people that are around you, you're stuck with them. You try to be as least confrontational as possible. So it's hard to kind of speak up, speak your mind, and because you don't want to make enemies in that environment. And I mean, realistically, as long as everybody can work together, it's fine. You kind of get past those things, but
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't want to, because you have to spend quite a bit of time with these folks, right? So you best be on their good side, not their bad side, right? So
yeah. Yep. So yeah,
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
While you're in the service,
Hmm.
or while you're doing your civic duty or whatever you guys call it, the only military I was ever involved with was the Israeli one. So
Hmm.
anyway, when you're in there, when you were doing like going to church just to get out of doing whatever you had to do otherwise, did you at all start to think anything of it? Like, did it start to sort of make you kind of want to be
No,
involved?
no. I I had a when I was young, like I always felt like I was really smart, but I was also I know
Didn't
now
we all?
that I was very, very easy to uh mold and manipulate in a way where
Sure.
my ideologies and beliefs shifted very rapidly when I was younger.
Right.
So even if I thought that for amount of time, all it would take is like one good book or one good conversation to just kick that right to the curb and move on to the next, terrible, terrible position to have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I went through a few, man. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, I've been through quite a bit, and that, it's something that I think about now is that how I can see my beliefs. And if you have like a political ideology thing, it's like just all back and forth and all over the place. And, I think as you get older, you kind of settle more. But no, I don't think I ever like firmly accepted anything. I mean, there's always some amount of doubt, especially as you start learning more about epistemology and philosophy, and you start questioning your own ability to reason and to come up with the truth, quote unquote.
Right.
But I don't think there was ever I don't think I ever had a firm belief like that.
You never were tempted to, or it was just like it would be cool if it was real.
Yeah, that was always the case. So I've always been into, fantasy, RPGs, games.
Sure.
I've been in like old school stuff, mythology and stuff like that. And it always seemed like it would be cool if there was some mystical, magical forces at play. As a kid, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people as a kid, like they wish they can do magic or believe, even like if I believe like mind over matter type stuff, maybe I could fly when I jump off my porch type stuff. But
Oh, don't do that, by the way.
do not try that at home.
I did once. It was a bad move.
I did jump off a roof once of a house, and I mean I had no illusions that I was gonna fly. I just didn't know how much it was gonna hurt.
The jumping doesn't hurt. It's that sudden fucking stop at the end that hurts.
Yeah, yeah. The falling is fine. It's the landing that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So
got
when people say I
a
don't want to
little nap
fall,
there.
just say no. I don't want to land.
Yeah, falling's good. Landing, not so much. Well, it depends. I mean, I could jump off my bed and be fine, right? But if you jump off the second story or something, that's a whole other ball.
I don't know. You did just show me a cane.
Well, yeah. That's right. You guys out there in the chat, you've seen this before because I've often just as a joke waved it around like "get off my lawn" kind of thing. But today I actually have to use it because I threw my back out when I was climbing up a ladder, which is not a good place to throw your back out because I literally fell off the ladder and made it even worse. So kind of hobbling around for the rest of the day, but took a couple of Robax platinum sort of things for the old back there, and a few beers from now I'll be fine. I'll be bulletproof.
One thing I do I kind of forgot about this, but I just remembered it, is that when I was a young teen, I went to what is it called, like vacation Bible school
Oh God, yeah.
for a week. And one way that they get you is the songs that they sing are very, very catchy. And there's songs that we did in that 1 week that I still remember to this day, like 20 years later.
Well, they're not catchy enough for me to want to redo it with my band, if that's what you mean.
No, but they like stick in your head, right? And then
Sure.
one of them
Earworm.
one of them was like the uh something, Jesus loves you. Yes, it's so because the Bible told me so, or whatever, something like that. And my daughter got this little toy from her grandparents that has that song in it. And when I heard that, I was like, I'm gonna cut this thing to pieces and throw it in the trash before she listens to it too many times.
Right.
And it just drives me nuts.
Someone's wishing me well in the Facebook chat. So.
Oh, nice. It's hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah. The lady that said, "Oh no, feel better," is one of my lifelong friends. Like one of the people I probably know the longest. So.
Nice.
Like when we were kids, we used to go to Hebrew school together and stuff like that. So yeah, she's family basically. Like
Nice.
that's how long we've known each other basically.
Yeah. Some of my best friends growing up that went to private, that were able to afford and go to private school, are all like really hardcore Christian right now and Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So basically in Detroit, if you wanted to go to a decent school at that time, you would go to a private school, and all of the private schools were religious.
Right.
So it was tough. It was tough to escape that. Like your only choice was like really poor performing public schools and private religious schools.
Yeah. Well, my folks wanted to send me before they ultimately decided to put me on a plane and ship me off to Israel because I was a shithead. But they wanted to send me to private schools here in the Lower Mainland, in Vancouver area, and we tried going to a few, and none of them would accept me. I think maybe I was too much of a shithead or something back then.
They knew.
Plus, we were Jewish, and these ones were all like Catholic type, like schools. So I never did go in there, but
they didn't take their chance to convert you.
No, like that would happen. Even as a kid, and Deborah actually in the Facebook chat can attest to this. I would ask questions sometimes that the teachers didn't like in Hebrew school, so I'd often be in the hallway because they didn't like the questions I'd say. Because I never really, I mean, I remember being young and kind of believing, like I would ask God or whatever for favors and shit as a kid, as you do.
Yeah.
And nothing ever happened, right? Because it's fucking bullshit. But anyways, I just remember the stories, like all these fucking phenomenal stories that just sounded like mythologies to me, even as a kid, right? Because we now know that none of them happened. Like there was no global flood, there was no exodus out of Egypt, there was no Garden of Eden. None of that shit happened. It's just mythology,
right?
Right. Otherwise, there'd be overwhelming evidence to support these things, and there just isn't.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, it only takes so many times of asking, can you do me this favor? Praying, can you do this thing for me? And then it doesn't happen before you go, oh well, maybe there's not somebody listening. I mean, well, what's the explanation here? Like
they've done multiple studies on intercessory prayer.
Oh yeah,
and they fail every time.
Yeah,
every time.
Yeah. So, yeah. So towards the end of my military experience, that's when I started listening to like AXP and getting online. And one of my first experiences with dealing with the online culture of atheism and religious is arguing with Ray Comfort on his YouTube page.
Why?
it was on a channel. It was on a video.
Banana.
It was on a video called Evolution versus God, and it was on something Waters page or whatever. It was his page.
Living Waters.
Yeah, and I spent weeks in the comment section with other people, like just trying to hammer, to nail down just one person on one thing, like any one person on any one thing that was defending him, and it was impossible.
Is it Kirk Cameron on his side now?
Yeah.
What happened to that guy?
I don't know, off the rails.
Yeah, a little bit.
I yeah, I don't know. But that was my experience with like that there's like a debate about this, and it's ongoing, and it's never ending, and it's when you start experiencing the results of indoctrination, and you go, all right, I'm giving you this evidence, I'm telling you this thing, and every relevant scientist in the world believes, accepts this as the truth, or the scientifically accepted um answer to diversity of life and all this other stuff, and you can quote every science page, every organization, every link and source on Wikipedia, and they've got like canned responses for everything,
Oh yeah.
and none of it makes any sense to me. And
No.
I'm like, and it was like one of my first experiences with like, how can something that makes so much sense to me or seems so reasonable to me just not get through to people? And I didn't understand it. It's so hard to comprehend why other people just can't see what you see. And when you start learning more and more about things like indoctrination and confirmation bias and motivated reasoning, you start to understand that it takes a different approach to get through to people. And
Mhm.
then over time you start
That's why I like
questioning.
the Socratic method works really well.
Yeah, I mean, it should. um and over time you start to question your own beliefs, and that,
Yeah,
and
this is good.
understanding why it's so difficult to get through the others does help you refine your own beliefs as well, or it should.
Absolutely.
It doesn't work for everybody on
No,
everything,
no.
but it should.
Some people double down on that shit when they realize that there might be holes.
Yeah, and that's another thing, right? So I got, after all that, I get really heavy into science communication as a SciComm groups on Facebook and
Very cool.
pages. Um, so helping run pages with anywhere between like 15 and 100,000 likes on them, and just big groups, with several thousand members, hundreds of posts a day,
Hmm.
and then groups anywhere between just casual groups that are like social groups, to evidence-based groups. Like, if you make a claim, it either has to be backed by evidence or you will retract it. Those are your
Yeah.
two options. So I've been involved in a lot of that, and it's you start to learn that communication in itself there's a science to it. It's a science and an art form, and that if you're just trying to regurgitate and bash people over the head with facts, that doesn't necessarily resonate with people, and it's not their fault. It's your fault as the communicator for not recognizing that and
Yep.
finding a better approach, or finding a different approach that works. It's just like teaching in schools, where not everybody learns the same, and you can make them recite the information 100 times, but if they don't get it, it's not their fault. It's your failure as a teacher.
Well, I mean, when it comes to beliefs and stuff like that, that's no way to handle someone in a conversation. It's just bombard them with factual information, because that's liable. You're liable to just have them completely go to the cognitive dissonance and just shut down and
Right.
shut it down and
Yep.
whatnot. So the best thing to do is when you're talking to someone, you ask them, well, you have this belief. What convinced you of this belief?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that could lower your confidence on this belief? Right. And
Right.
then you can have a conversation about that. Maybe, propose some questions that might make them go, I never thought of that, or whatever. Right. And then you can have something that's more of a productive conversation, rather than
Yeah.
just trying to fucking flashbang them with Dawkins and Hitchens and fucking everything else. Right. So, oh, thanks, Mikey.
Woo.
Mikey's pulling the strings again. He's chowing down on some steak and taters and pulling the strings.
Nice.
And what's that, Zima? Oh, Peach Jim Beam. Ooh, fancy schmancy guy. You can't see it. I can see it. But
Oh, is he holding up signs to you?
Yeah, he always does that.
Wink twice if you want me to crash the stream.
Yeah. You do the old technical difficulties thing and all that.
Yeah.
So anyway, now that you're, how long were you in the military for before I asked this question?
5 years.
Oh wow, that's quite the. Oh,
Yeah, Mikey's going somewhere with that. We'll wait.
I don't know. Are we having ... is what he put in there, and I'm like, I don't know where that's. I don't know where that's going.
Yep. So I did 5 years. So boot camp was like 2 months. Training was 10 months. And then 4-year tour attached to a submarine where I did 2 Western Pacific deployments.
Wait, they didn't let you in the submarine? They just attached you to it? Or?
Yeah, it just strapped you to the side.
You to the outside. I can't breathe.
You get a scuba suit.
Oh, there you go. They put you in a shark tank so you can get attacked by great whites?
Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know if I could do that. I see people do it, and it's perfectly safe. And well, maybe not with gray whites, but it's supposed to be pretty safe. I don't think I can do it though.
Mm-hmm. It's I don't know. Have you seen the shark movies where they just go through that shit like it's made out of tinfoil?
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, that's just a movie. But
they just bite the whole cage.
Apparently, the best time to swim with those little bastards is after they've just eaten something.
Well, that makes sense.
You can swim with them. You can touch them and everything.
Yeah, that's the best time to put your delicious plate of food in front of me as well. The least likelihood that I'll eat it. So it makes sense.
Depends on what it is, man. I might be able to just undo the top belt and just give her. I got room. Get up, jump up and down. Shift it down there. I had to do that for sushi quite a bit when you go for those all-you-can-eat sushis. Get up and do a little jog around the restaurant, come back down. Yeah, I got some room for a few more.
Yeah, you got to get your money's worth, right?
Oh, I do. Every time me and some friends walk into that place, the guy goes, "Ah, fuck, there goes my profit margin." so, yeah, we do that all the time. Well, we used to. I don't do that so much anymore. Of course, because of COVID as well, right? We can't. I've only been to a handful of restaurants since this whole thing started.
I've been to my favorite Mexican restaurants, and that's it. Nothing else is worth the risk.
Well, hi, B. My mom and I would go for brunch, but now, I checked out this one place called the Pink Pearl where they serve dim sum because we were like, yeah, we got to have dim sum soon, and I tried to find it on DoorDash and couldn't find it. So we went there, and there's these guys that had like their masks on, the gloves on, they're handing you shit with tongs and stuff, and all the tables are like 12 feet apart, which is not normal for that place because it's like half capacity. They put the tables right next to each other when it's normal time, right? So, but we went there and we ate and we left, and it was a good time. Didn't touch anything, and because there's quite a few people in there, actually, surprisingly.
It's kind of surprising that we used to do things the way that we did them, knowing what we know, right? So we know that like the flu and the cold and basically any respiratory illness travels the exact same way that COVID does, and the exposure works the exact same way, and the infections work the same way. Everything works the same way for something like the flu.
Yeah.
But we just never, even though it's between like 60 and like 120,000 people in the U.S. die from it every year, it just never a thing.
No.
They're
but
just
then all those facts come out once they started talking about deaths from COVID. Oh yeah. Well, 2,000 people every year die from the flu in Canada.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and how many have died from COVID so far? And it's only been a couple of months.
Well, even better is how many have died from the flu so far. It's virtually zero because what we're doing works. Doing works.
That's right. You notice that the flu isn't going around? Colds aren't really prevalent this year because everyone's all masked up and gloved up or whatever.
It feels like, if we could do this for like 5 years, we can just completely eradicate a handful of diseases off the map. But that'll never happen.
One of my bosses from work is watching.
Ooh.
Oh no, he's a good guy. Joe's good people.
Neil is a perfectly upstanding citizen.
Don't lie. He knows already. He knows much better.
Most minutes of some hours of the day.
No. Most of the time at work, I'm either making some antifreeze or testing shit in the lab. So mess forever.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say forever. I can't remember where I was watching this, but some experts will. I use quotations because it wasn't something I was watching. I apologize. It was something I was reading, and they're saying that we may not see the end of this for at least another 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, it's going to become endemic. Is what the common consensus is. Well, the consensus that I've seen so far is that it's endemic, meaning that it's going to circulate with the annual flu and cold season. Because we already have multiple coronaviruses that are endemic that cause the common cold, and so the idea is that this one will merge and blend in with those as far as what causes the common cold. There's a handful of different viruses that do it, but this might be turn into just another one that does it.
Well, the common cold is a rhinovirus. It's not a coronavirus.
Well, but if you get sick,
Flus are coronaviruses.
No, that's influenza.
Sorry, influenza, it's a coronavirus though.
No, influenza that's the name of the virus, is influenza.
Oh, I thought coronavirus was a type of virus, not the name of it.
No. So there's 7 coronaviruses, and 3 of them circulate in humans, including this one. So we had SARS, MERS, and now SARS-CoV-2.
CoV-2, yeah.
Well, Jenna's.
Oh, you're right. And then influenza virus, and then
So influenza is a virus, and then the common cold is a handful of different viruses, including coronaviruses.
Right.
It might be more than 3. I think there's 7 of them now that infect humans. The other 4 that I mentioned make up to about 20 to 25% of the common cold.
Sure.
But anyways.
They all suck.
Without looking it up, it's just kind of a bit of educated guesswork here.
Right. Well, Jenna, they know more than we would.
Yeah, they all suck. And
there's about 7. Yeah.
And they're gonna stick around for a while. So that's the gist of it. Is it's all bad.
If they're gonna stick around, all right, party time.
Woo! The coronavirus is here for the after party.
All right, so now that we talked about all the, I don't know how the virus shit got in there, but anyways.
Yeah, you were going to ask something about the military or something like that.
Bye, Deborah. Deborah's got to go. So now that you're out of the military and you're home, how long was it till you got married?
I got out in 2013, so it has been a while. I'm 34, 30 something now.
Making it up as you go, eh?
Well, it's just hard. I don't remember things like that.
Well, I hope you do it for anniversary's sake.
Yeah.
Sure.
I definitely don't have a contact in my Google Calendar telling me when my wedding.
I do that kind of shit too, though. But
no, so I got out in 13. I went to school for 2 years. Like, I actually legitimately went to school. Got my associate's degree in computer information systems. Cool. And then I met my wife in 15, so 2 years, and then we had a kid like in 17, and then I got married in sometime after that. Awesome. 18 or 19. I don't remember which year anymore.
It's like I was drunk the whole time.
after 2 kids, buying a house and cars and getting married and all that stuff, it's hard to remember anything, honestly.
That's all right. So what caused you to want to start your YouTube channel?
So one of the things that the reason I do most of the stuff I do online is that my wife may or may not watch this, who knows, is that I don't have anyone in my personal sphere that I can really talk to about things. People are either so caught up in their day to day, they just have no interest in science and in philosophical debates or religion or politics. And most of the people that I know just don't seem to be interested in it. And it's like, I understand I have to work and I have kids and I have other stuff, but I mean, where is the part where you exercise your mind and talk about your thoughts and how you see the world and stuff like that. So after I got involved with the ACD Discord, which is the fan server for the ACA, just going through that and making friends with people and having a spot to actually have these conversations, and then talking to, I try to help out with it. Yeah, Stidix is no help with politics. Just if you want to be very frustrated all the time, just talk to Stidix. Just having a place to have these types of conversations in a audio format more than just text, right? So it's a big difference when you have that added element of hearing somebody talk. Eventually, we started doing like video chats because Discord has a video chat option, and then we decided to basically just take it one step further and have a video version of the same types of chats. It's basically, the idea was to have a like an hour, 2 hour, whatever conversation of the same types of conversations that we were already having casually most nights or a few times a week with people that were interested in talking about things that was something outside of their regular day-to-day life. So if it is religion, politics, or current events and stuff like that, it's hard to find somebody to go into those deep dives with sometimes. So, just having that community was really good. And then adding the audio, and then it was basically just adding a video format to those conversations. Now, it's mostly me and Jenna, but we almost always have guests, and there's not always a topic, but it's nice to just have that to look forward to, just have a conversation with somebody that's, in my case, it's more than talking to a 4-year-old all day or talking about work all day.
Well, I mean, I've been on, and I know what you guys do, right? And I had a good time chatting with you guys. It was a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah. So sometimes we do deep dives, and sometimes there's a topic, or we might have somebody on that really knows what they're talking about, and sometimes
that wasn't the episode I was on, guys. Just so
sometimes we're just hanging out, and it's always a good time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've watched a few, and you guys are really good together, you and Jenna, and the way you chat with folks. I watched the one with that fucking Irish Swede guy.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit, put me to sleep. Not you guys, him.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Jenna has probably talked about it quite a bit, but she said, I mean, I don't know if you want to put her message on there, but
you mean
just having one? Yeah, so it's just having those conversations and making an attempt to reach other people that are also looking to have these conversations but don't have people to have them with. Right. Is super important, and it's important for like my mental health to just have that every week, so I can talk about the things that I've been thinking about all week, and because it's nobody I know like locally is interested in a lot of this stuff, or if they do, you always run the risk of like alienating people at work or your family and friends and stuff like that. So it's tough.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think you nailed it, man. It gives you an outlet to talk about all the stuff that you were thinking about for the past days or so, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's what you guys do on there is a lot of fun, and you've got some pretty good folks on there that do know what they're talking about. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to prop Sweet up on that one, but he does know what he's talking about.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of not that I have any like high hopes of like ever getting super famous or anything, but you see a lot of channels that started off small, just hanging out, like low production quality, just
Hello.
having yeah, just having fun, right? And if you're consistent with it and you are you do make it enjoyable and you try to bring something or a new perspective in, as often as you can, they're going to grow organically. And as long as you're, decent with decent ideas, it'll grow over time. So
Attention.
it's not something that we super actively try to promote or get big or anything like that. We don't have Patreon. We're not trying to make money or anything like that. I mean, nothing against the channels that are. It's just I don't feel like
What are you trying to say?
I personally don't feel like the quality of the content that we put out justifies it, but it's also just not something that I just don't feel comfortable monetizing it for one reason or another. And I just do it to have fun and to have a conversation with whoever is, willing to come talk to us.
Okay, but if you end up, because you guys are still under 100, and
Yeah.
I'm blown away by this, because you should be well over 100 by now.
We don't advertise for shit. We should, but
You should. I mean, the point is, if you have a format where you're having these discussions, you'd think you'd want more people to pop in and check it out.
yeah, and from Jenna's perspective is she has a whole different perspective than I do, a whole different side of this, in that she's trying to reach people like herself that are closeted, potentially closeted Black atheists, closeted female atheists that do have a lot of outside pressure, and that having a somewhat of a popular Facebook page or Twitter or YouTube channel may show those people that there are other people like that they can talk to and privately message or just come comment on the show. Just basically that there's other people out there, because if you talk to her, like there's a point in her life where she just didn't even know that this was even a thing. Right.
Yeah.
And that goes for a lot of people.
I didn't either for a long time.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that don't even know like atheism, secularism is a thing. Your only knowledge of this is what you're told in the church. And we're just, baby eating devil worshippers.
And Tons of Mice was looking for an IFWA's Patreon.
Yeah, we've
so
talked
did
about
I.
it.
Because I was going to put a link to it below, but
we've talked about it, and one of the ideas is that if we do get enough people asking us to make one or at where one is, or if there seems like there's interest, and that we would use it.
3 already.
we would use it to support other people, other creators.
Which is, you know what, what I make basically goes to the people that I support as well, too. Right?
Yeah.
The little bit that's left, which is next to nothing, just comes back. This comes back into the show, right? So
right, yeah, no, I think it's fair. It would feel fair to me to make enough to support what you're doing in terms of your technical side, producing, paying for your. I know you have a premium StreamYard subscription, stuff like that, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I do. I have all the same costs. I just don't recover any of it. So that's more than fair, and that seems reasonable to me. And then anything extra, I would probably support other creators, because I know there's a lot of creators that are good quality content creators that are that this is their passion, this is what they want to do for a living, and they would eventually rely on this for their income. I don't have that goal, and I don't think I would ever rely on this. I mean, it would be cool, but
side cash.
Yeah, it would be cool, but I like my career. We haven't talked about it at all, but I like my career and my what I'm doing, and I do dedicate a lot of my time to being better at that and make enough to get get along with that.
I like what I do for a living too.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't, I'm just one person, but I like to believe that what I do has an impact on
Yeah.
our ecosystem and keeping harsh shit out of the ecosystem. So
Right. Yeah. Jenna brings up something is that International Freethinkers it started as a Discord server that I started probably almost 2 years ago now, or a year and a half. And the idea was to mostly build a international community, but also a place for content creators to showcase or promote their stuff with 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 no centralized figure to follow and no overarching organization dictating how or we can promote anything or how anything needs to be done. Like a lot of people have their own content and their own Discord servers, their own little communities, but having a more of a central place to show people that maybe followers of one that there's also another one out there sounded like it was pretty cool. I know there's a lot of lists out there now that do a good job at that.
yeah.
And then we started our YouTube show, and my initial idea for that was to not have the whole IF thing revolve around me and Jenna, even though it does now. But I wanted other people to have shows if they want to, and they can use our channels and our infrastructure to create their own content if they wanted to. But I know that it's fairly easy to start up your own now. So not a lot of people want to like get involved with what other people are doing, but I definitely want to, if we get the channel bigger, to help other people get started. If maybe they don't have the confidence, or they just don't want to do everything on their own, or they want someone to handle the production side, that we would do all that, and they can use the channel, the StreamYard, whatever they want.
That's cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah, because we want to build a community, and I don't put enough effort into it for it to happen, but that's the idea, is to just have a place for people to hang out and promote their content and create content if they want.
Awesome. I think that's awesome. And the fact that you're willing to use your platform for other people, for them to be able to use your platform, I think that's really cool of you. I mean, and then he walks away. I was just going to bring Mikey in here, but he got up out of his chair and walked away.
Yeah. So Aliman asked, what's with my hat? So I started wearing this recently because my computer and all this stuff is right by my furnace. So I turn my furnace off when I'm recording, and my house gets cold in the winter. So in the summer I probably won't be wearing it when it'd be hot, but
in the summer,
the temperature in my house drops probably almost 10 degrees over an hour with my furnace off.
You look very Canadian.
I look cozy.
All right. Well, before we come to an end here, I'm going to bring my good friend Mikey up in here.
Woo, Mikey!
Look at him. He's all like, "Well, man, the best fucking food ever."
I knew you were going to do this, so I ran in the other room, cut off a piece, shoveled it out of my mouth. I was like, "I'll be done chewing." No. What's
That's
up?
all right.
What is up, Mr. Justin? How you doing?
I am good, Mikey.
Awesome.
How are you?
And don't you worry your pretty little head. You have tons of people surrounding you who are going to make sure that you're going to have over 100 subs by tonight, right, guys?
Oh boy!
Yeah, you were at what, 78? I think the last time I looked.
Yeah, there's like 22 people watching right now. So everybody, you know what to do.
78, 22. That's 100.
We did
it.
it.
Man! Oh, we can do math.
Wait,
we just figured it out.
Wait, there's math involved?
I have a calculator right in front of me.
I was told there would be no math.
Nope, math is one of my better subjects. So,
yeah, we it has been going up. So we'll, like a couple every week. So there's been some.
Good.
We're not turning down promotion. We just not good at doing it.
He said rip double sub.
Yeah. Yeah, Stitix has a running joke that if you don't like a show, then hit hit unlike and then hit unlike again, or thumbs down again, and so that it stay neutral.
It was just, what? So you sub and then unsub at the same time?
No, like if you're gonna not like a show, like thumbs down a show, like hit it twice. Show that you double don't like it.
Yeah, that'll teach him. That'll teach him.
That'll teach him because it won't show up.
Ah,
Yeah, all right. So, fuck. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they don't with the nonprofits that Jenna, myself, and Mr. Mikey here have been involved with. I'm surprised that they don't put the other shows that people are involved with in sort of the description box. Like, if you like our hosts, you should check out their other shows or whatever. But I think it might be because we're not official ACA shows.
I don't know that I've seen anybody's private content posted in the descriptions or officially promoted. But I've never seen any. I've seen them promote their own content on the air, like verbally. It's a weird ACA proper thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might be just be the way their bylaws and the way the 501(c)(3) runs and all that other stuff.
Could be.
But I've seen guests talk about their own content on the air plenty of times.
I love you. I'm pulling up my episode that I was on there. Yep, my link is not there.
Oh, you don't exist.
Thanks, DR.
Nope, they don't. They don't do that.
Never seen DR in the chat before, so welcome.
Yeah. YouTube system and Facebook and all these other ones is a self I don't know the words for it, but yeah, the more popular you are, the more that you get promoted organically.
Yeah.
So it's designed to support already popular content.
Correct.
My cousin Jason is watching on Facebook and says, "Keep up the great work, boys. Love this stuff. No need to be official."
There you go. That's I've always thought of like doing some sort of nonprofit for some communities, organizations, and stuff. But it sounds like a lot of work, especially when you can get most of your stuff done without that now. Like if you want to build a YouTube channel, you can. If you want to build a community, you can. You don't need official outlets to get your voice heard.
Yeah, I don't need the man telling me what to do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Do it myself, man.
Fuck the man.
He's done nothing but hold me back, Jive Took.
Dave. Yeah, something to do with them algorithms.
Well, he did invent he did invent the internet.
Yep. Al Gore be praised.
No, he didn't.
Sure he did. He says he did, so it must be true. He says he did, so it must be true.
Two guys pretty much came up with what we know as the internet today, and they didn't know each other. So they came up with sort of the same idea at the same time.
And Al Gore was both of them.
For the life of me, I can't remember. Yeah, but just in different places, right? And it happens, man.
I don't know the names, but
I can't remember the names either.
The superposition of Al Gore. He was in both places, and that's how
superposition. Listen.
Yeah. Well, the US DoD invented parts of the internet, and then
they invented Al Gore.
Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then where did Al Gore come from?
He invented Tim Berners-Lee. So
it's always Al
Gore is eternal.
He's eternal. Yeah.
There always was an Al Gore. There will always be an Al Gore.
It reminds me of that meme I saw where God and Adam and Eve, and he's like, "All right, Adam, there you go. You got the garden, and this is Eve." And he goes, and then, I made Eve for you, and then Adam goes, "Yeah, sure, but who's that guy?" And he's pointing over there, and it's fucking Keith Richards. And God's like, "I don't know. He was here when I got here."
That dude's like 345 years old. And still kicking. Oh, I'm excited for the after show.
Hitoshi Sato said he said he provided appropriations for the seed funding,
Sounds dirty.
International Surf says Gore's statement was true. So he probably threw money at the project, I guess, at one of these two guys. And I can't remember who the hell those two guys' names were. I looked it up just recently, so that's how, because I had no idea.
Now, what?
By the way, I
guess
learned computer science in Haifa. Really? I've been to Haifa. When I was in Haifa, I was visiting a buddy of mine, the Lebanese kid that I knew that lived up there. And his uncles were sitting out front of the family shop that has like spices and stuff. And they're two of them, they're older guys. And they're fucking eating these little fucking red peppers, like little ghost pepper type things, like they're candy.
Oh no!
I'm like, yeah, those guys. This is like fire-breathing dragons right over there. By the time they eat a few of those fucking things, and that's kind of where I learned to tolerate spicy foods, was over there, because I started munching on a couple myself. I'm like, holy shit!
Where's that at?
Haifa is in Mount Carmel.
Okay.
Pennsylvania.
I would believe you if I didn't know you.
Pennsylvania. It's in Israel.
My one thing is giving wrong answers to questions. That's my thing.
Is that Mount Carmel? That's where Noah's Ark is, right?
Mm-hmm.
No.
That is correct.
I don't remember seeing it there. 92 to 2001, dear. All right, cool.
You didn't look inside the mountain. That's the problem.
Inside the mountain. Yeah, just let me get my fucking dynamite and blow a few holes in it. No, it was Mount Ararat, apparently, is where it was allegedly landed.
Yeah, inside that mountain, too. It's in any mountain that they say it's in.
The superposition of Noah's Ark.
Holy cow, my phone's going nuts now. We're missing a bunch of coins there, Mikey.
I just did it.
I'm dumb.
I was like, I did that time.
DR.
Usually, yes.
I've heard the coins. You're just tuning them out.
He had his phone on like freaking silent one day. He's like, "Oh, you're slacking, Mikey." I was like, "Just a thought. I haven't heard any of them." He's like, slowly, you hear the button click. Oh, okay, man. I see what's going on here.
Anyway, DR. I was in Israel from 82 to 85, I think. So did a little military training there, and with the option to join, because you had to be there for at least 3 years to officially join. And my folks were like, come home. So I did the 6-month boot camp or whatever. And then with the option, they gave little postcards to all the kids that were at the kfar, and said, you can come and do the training, which I think 6 or 7 of us did. And only 3 of us stayed and actually joined. So, and I wasn't one of them. My folks didn't want me to do that. So I came home. Yeah, it was interesting though. But Justin, I think, is there any, if you could give anyone a piece of advice when it comes to dealing with this kind of thing, what would you say to them?
I think I kind of covered it, but the biggest thing that my takeaway as learning how to communicate with people that are religious or indoctrinated or embedded in any belief system is that one, like we covered, is just regurgitating facts is not an effective method of communicating and reaching somebody.
Right.
We know from studies, from actual research, that developing an emotional and interpersonal connection with people is the basis, the start of reaching people. So if you legitimately are interested and care about changing minds and reaching people and making them see things your way, you have to develop an emotional connection first. You can't just bombard them with facts. They're going to double down. They're going to be entrenched in their beliefs. They're going to, like you said, unintentionally turn on this cognitive dissonance where, what you're saying is true, but I still believe this thing, and it's not even my choice, because we don't choose what we believe. We're convinced of things, right? So, and we can be convinced of competing ideas, and that's what cognitive dissonance is. So you have to become part of their tribe, become part of their circle of things that they care about, if you want to effectively communicate and reach people. And unfortunately, that's best done one-on-one rather than in big groups.
Yeah, agreed.
And if you are going to communicate in big groups, don't expect to change minds with the person you're talking to, or just period. If you're communicating in big groups, the best you can do is reach the fence sitters or the people that are unsure and not already convinced, and do your best of knowing and understanding that you're trying to reach them and not necessarily the people that you're talking to.
Right.
So that's something that I've learned fairly recently, and something that I try to practice when I'm talking to people about, especially controversial subjects, and things that I know that there's a deeply held, belief that it's hard to overcome, because it's easy to just give someone the facts, but they have like this God box that your facts and reason and logic just does not get through. It does not penetrate.
That's right.
And
Sometimes.
sometimes. And if your intention is to be an effective communicator, you have to take the time and effort to learn their tools to do so. You can't just blame it on them for not learning and listening and absorbing everything you tell them.
Yeah, blame will never get you anywhere.
Yeah. So insulting people and calling names and all this other stuff for just not accepting, these raw facts and stuff that you just have memorized and posted at them is not the way.
Right.
This is not the way.
Yeah.
And
So
finish up.
No, I was just gonna say that's what I've learned over the past couple years, probably, is to try to be a more effective a communicator, and somebody that I see too many people that say that they care about science, but they chuck out the entire science of communication. They absolutely refuse to look at how we effectively communicate and what the research and studies say about how we effectively reach people, and they chuck out that part because it's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just want to say, here's the facts, here's the evidence, accept it, or else you're insert whatever insult you can about the person.
Stupid.
Yeah.
And I do like what you said earlier, because I'm very much in agreement with you. You don't choose your beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
You're either convinced of something or you're not.
Right.
And what I always like to try and encourage people to do is don't just instantly believe everything you're told. Think about it a little bit, do a little bit of research, and find out if what people are telling you is true. Like if they could, you could be told something, and if they don't come with something that demonstrates that what they're telling you is true, then hold off on your belief and do your own checking up on it, right?
Yeah, withholding belief, withholding your position is a perfectly valid position to have.
Exactly, because you can assert as many things you want without evidence, but I can dismiss the same amount without evidence.
And that's something that is harped on the ACA shows, on the AXP primarily, is that I don't know is a perfectly valid position, a perfectly valid answer, perfectly valid response to questions. And anyone who tells you otherwise, they have to accept that they're willing to accept a position on bad evidence or no evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's hard. It's hard for
That's where the faith thing comes in. Well,
yeah.
Yeah. No, you don't. Faith is not a virtue. It's the opposite of a virtue.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to not know. Like, we want to know. Like, I mean, scientists want to know how the universe started. We want to know what the meaning or the purpose of life is. We want to know these things, like, desperately.
Hold on. There is no purpose or meaning. It's whatever you make it.
Right.
Life doesn't come with that built in.
Yeah.
It's whatever you make it.
I agree.
Bacon.
But we desperately want to have answers. We want the information given to us. But if you're going to be a skeptic, if you're going to be try to be rational and reasonable and only accept things with good evidence, you have to accept that I don't know is valid. And there's probably most things in life is going to be I don't know. I mean, ideally, you're going to be talking about most things, things that you do know, but there's a lot of things to be experts on, and we have experts in each individual field, and so there's going to be a lot of things you don't know, and we have to accept that.
Yep, it's perfectly okay to say I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, Justin, I think we've gone like an hour and 10, dude. So
yeah, we're good.
You're bro, so I give you extra 10 minutes. But we're gonna do an after party. So for all you guys watching on Facebook, I don't actually air the after parties on Facebook, but there's a link below if you want to come and hang out and watch, and it's on YouTube. So also anyone out there who would like to join us for the after party, you can give Mikey here a little message, or myself, either through Facebook or Twitter, and we will send you a link and you can jump in. Yes, Jen, you fucking missed it again.
Dead City is dead.
Yeah. That's because she sleeps through it.
There's an alarm set for 9 p.m. Like, they should be wrapping up. Let's get in here.
Fucking slacker. Anyway, Justin, man, thank you so much, man, for joining me. It was great to finally have you on.
Thank you for having me on. Yeah, I was scheduled for previous time, didn't make it, but it was a good time.
Life happens, man. I've had to bump people myself for my own, like all last week, and I noticed all my shit on my algorithms and statistics on YouTube have all dropped because I didn't air anything.
Mm-hmm.
But of course I had to do it because my mom was going through a little bit of a difficult time, and I had to be ready to go if need be all week, and I had to go out a couple times. But
yeah,
got to do it. And Jenna Miu, bestie. She put 3 of her black hearts there for you. Just
that's very telling.
They're to be fair, they're red on YouTube.
Oh, are they? Okay,
yeah.
They show black here.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad, Jenna. Don't hate me.
Blame it on StreamYard.
Blame it on the street. Just a street.
Blame it on the yard. I'm sorry.
That's going to be the new intro.
No, it's not.
Clip that, tons of mice.
Fuck
Nothing.
you.
Nothing. That's why we got to get you on Twitch. They can clip things. All of your watchers, your viewers can clip things for you. Oh,
now
man.
You know why I'm not on Twitch.
Oh, tons of mice.
Enough shit gets clipped. Look what IQ does with me. And all the memes he comes up with. I'm like, do you have a job, man? Like, what do you do? Sit at home and make memes of being Mikey? Like,
he sells them on the internet.
He comes up with memes like in real time too. Like
he does.
You're writing messages and he's making memes.
It's true. It's very true. That's why he's a great moderator. Anyway,
Memerator.
Anyway, yeah. That's right. Thanks to all my amazing patrons. Because of you guys, the show keeps going and improving. Well, at least I hope it does. And also, don't forget that Randolph and myself will be starting our own call-in show called True North Talk. And you can call in and talk about anything that you believe or anything that you just want to talk about, anything to do with atheism or theism or whatever. It's all good. And it will be launching sometime soon. We're still building the studio. But we're at the point now where we can slap the roof on this fucker and paint it up a little bit and add the doors and windows, and we'll be good to go. So keep watching the channel there. There's some videos there already of the construction and what we've been doing so far, and some of them are pretty funny because we're complete idiots when it comes to construction. Jason is asking where's the link, I think, for the after party. If you look in the description above this video on Facebook, it shows up there. There is a link there. Or if you hop over to the YouTube version of this, the link is in the description box below.
I'll put it over there.
Okay. And or Mikey will probably. Oh, you can throw it in the Facebook chat. Oh yeah, you're on there too. I saw you earlier. I saw you lurking.
I'm all over.
And also, don't forget that myself and Mikey here, who's been a host as well, and the lovely Miss Jenna Miu, who's over in the chat, who's calling us haters now because of the Black Arts thing. We're all hosts of the new revamped and relaunched Nonprofits, one of the ACA shows that airs between Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience on Sunday at about 3 p.m. Central Time, which is 1 p.m. Pacific if you live on the Pacific Coast like I do. And also go and subscribe to them so you don't miss it when we I'll be I think we're recording tomorrow. And the last time Johnny actually gave me shit because I didn't put any notes in by show trip. I put them in like 2 days early, even when there weren't links for some of them yet. But I just put what I figured was going to happen. Anywho, and also the last Sunday, not Sunday, pardon me, the last Saturday of every month at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Can I get this one straight at least once in my lifetime?
No.
You can watch Andy from Laughing in Disbelief and Seamus from the Free Thought Profit Project and myself on Atheist Drinking Out Loud at about 2 p.m. Pacific. Oh, I said it already. Pacific time. Over on the Laughing in Disbelief channel, we go for about an hour to 2 sometimes. We've had guests like this guy below me here on there, and we talk about random stuff or funny shit that we see in the news and make fun of it and make fun of people. And it's a lot of good times. And we have, a few brewskis or scotch or whiskey or whatever the hell people want to drink. And it's a lot of fun. But anyways, once again, Justin, great having you on, man. Thanks to all you guys in the chat for hanging out with us. Thanks to my amazing producer here, who also has his own show, by the way, guys. It's linked below. It's called The Bin Podcast. Check it out.
I saw that movie, Neil.
So that the dragon. You saw Ryan?
Oh, it's so good. We're gonna talk about it.
Well, we're gonna talk about it in the after party. So you have to tune in the after party to find out. We won't give you too many spoilers. Don't worry. Anywho,
so cool.
It is awesome.
I'm tuning in to find out. So I'll be there to find
You're
out.
gonna be there. Anyways, guys. Wait, no, that's for the after party. You can get that on one of the t-shirts coming soon in the merch store. Until next time, guys, like I always say at the end of these wonderful interviews, especially when I get guys like Justin here on here.
Woo.
Like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.